Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Command Your Confidence. I'm here with my best friend AV back in the house. How's it going, buddy?
Hey man, thanks for having me, Rob. Man, it's been a minute, but I'm back, bro. So let's get it popping. I know we live right now. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and make sure you guys engage in the conversation, man, because it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, exactly. And before I go into the show too, I just want to let everyone know that I just started like a free like Facebook mastermind group and everything.
Excellent.
And I'll invite you in too if you want to just participate in
Absolutely.
moderating and stuff. So like,
Sure.
guys, feel free to join the group. It's free. I put the link here in the comments, and I also put it here in the description. And like, what we'll do is when we get on this Facebook group, this will answer your questions about dating, fitness, this like mindset, and wanting to improve all that, and we'll be here to answer all that stuff. So like, here's the link right here in the chat to the
Sweet.
Facebook group, right? Mastermind group. You'll find it right here, and again in the description. And then here's a link to Alpha Villains channel too. Be sure to go. No, this is actually his website, actually.
Yeah,
So
the
go check
website.
out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, you
Go
guys can
check him
follow
out
me.
at his website.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, so today we want to talk to you guys about like why you find it hard to take action in your life. You have all these ideas about making change. You write down all this stuff. You say you're going to do this, you say you're going to do that, yet you don't. You let fear, you let anxiety, you let your mindset stop you from taking action, and it's important to learn how to deal with that if you want to get ahead in your life. Because if you don't know how to deal with it, you guys will just be stuck. And you won't, a year will go by and you will get like nothing done. So,
Yeah,
what
you're absolutely
Alpha,
right.
exactly, Alpha Villain. So, what do you say? What do you think is like one of the common reasons why most guys want to make a change in life, yet they have a hard time doing that? Like they want to get good with women, change their mindset, create this dream job, whatever it is they want for themselves.
You know, I think fear is the number one factor as to why people don't just do it, right? They don't instill action in their life. And the reason why it's fear is because they're confused.
Hmm.
Peace, Safi.
Yeah,
Um,
rock on, Alpha Kingdom. What a mother!
yeah,
It's
yeah,
my brother
yeah.
from another mother.
You got some you got sauce. But no, what I was saying is it's fear. And basically the reason why they're fearful because there's so much content out there. There's so many gurus out there telling men that life is a one size fit all. Being a man is a one size fit all. You either high value or you're on the other side of the spectrum. So there's big groups of people telling this information and now they're overloaded. It's kind of like women. Women have so much choice to their detriment. Their abundance of choice is causing them to do dumb shit and to disqualify them to begin with to get with the real man. So men are fearful because they're hearing it. It sounds good, but it doesn't quite fit their lifestyle. And I think the biggest component of fear for men is failure.
Hmm.
Failure, right? So now you do something, you fail. Now you're scared to tell all your alpha friends. You're scared to tell your parents. You're scared to tell your family that you got back with the girl. So the thing is, people want to live on camera, but at the same time, they rather live through someone else's life because they don't want to have the accountability to tell everybody that they made the wrong choice and they made a mistake.
Right, exactly. But I think in order to like, get ahead in life though, you have to, you're gonna fail, you're gonna make mistakes. And that's just that goes with the territory when it comes to working on anything. Like when I first started to learn how to be social with women and stuff and go out there, I sucked at it. But I learned through my failures how to like improve upon that. And I've gotten a lot better, and I still am constantly working on that. And you can say the same with anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's all about direction. It's all about direction, man. A lot of people look at, let's say Michael Jordan, his record for scoring. He's got a lot of records. He broke a lot of NBA records, but nobody's really focusing on the amount of shots that he missed to achieve that astronomical number. All the
Mhm.
failures, we don't learn from winning. We don't learn from posting on a vacation. We don't learn from getting something, right up front. You learn from how many times it took you to get that prize. You learn from all the losses. You learn from when the cameras come off. All your favorite content creators are human. The real lessons are the shit that you're not seeing on camera. And that's the thing. People are following blindly everyone without really looking at what it's going to take for them to live a life that they can do, because everyone's trying to follow a content creator, but at the end of the day, you don't live the same lifestyle as that particular content creator. So
Mm-hmm.
if you continue to listen to every vowel and every consonant of a guru telling you what to do, it may not work for you. So until you
Mm-hmm.
look at the mirror, until you decide who you want to be, it's going to be easier for you to put action in whatever you need to do to get.
Mhm. Right, and I and I agree because like when I was following a lot of people on YouTube and stuff, and I just got lost in the information, and I felt like I was going out there practicing the stuff, yet I was still stuck, and I was still like I would say neurotic, just kind of practicing what I've learned, but and then I realized that at one point like I had to, be more I wasn't being true to who I was. I mean, sure you can listen to all that content and stuff, and it gets you to a certain point. But you have to like learn how to develop like your own inner like identity and figure out who you are. And it's not just goes when you're, going to meet women, but when you're working on something else, like, whether it is you're trying to learn how, get fit, kind of build a business. Like it's all about like you're learning you and your own personal self development.
Absolutely. And the only way you can learn is by walking. You know what I mean? Like when children, babies, see, it's fear, man. Babies they keep getting up only to fall again. A child learns how to walk from trial and error. The baby can't
Hmm.
put the concepts together about fear of failure. We know, and we're so scared of failing, it prevents us and blocks us from our blessings. It prevents us from actually taking action towards something that's going to make or change your life. That's the
Hmm.
problem. So it's excessive information and fear of not getting the question right. You ever been in a classroom and the teacher says, "Does anybody have any questions?" Nobody raises their hands, but everyone's
Yeah,
so
right. No,
confused.
I've been in that
Me
situation
too.
before. I know what you're talking
Me
about.
me
Yeah,
too.
because they don't want to be embarrassed. No, that's true.
Right. So the accountability and the embarrassment. Right. So now you got all these groups. We're alpha. We're alpha. We're alpha. I do something that's not quite in line with what I've heard. Now it backfired on me, and now I'm scared to tell my friends. So now I'm just gonna continue to do the shit that only works for them and not have a life. So
Hmm.
people are just confused, and the reason why they're confused is because they're using their ears versus they're trying to do what they want to do or what they need to do for themselves. Man, everybody's
Hmm.
different.
Right, right. No, that's true. No, and I think like getting back to it, like I think people just have to figure that out for themselves, and they got to be afraid, like not to take chances. Like, I've learned with anything, like if you want to, get ahead, you're not going to get ahead unless you take chances. And even if you fail, like, yeah, you're going to feel like crap, but you have to realize, hey, it's like everything's like a learning experience, and that's going to help you level up and get you to the next level. You got to learn from your mistakes. And if you continue to repeat your mistakes, I mean, you're gonna get nowhere. So you got to like learn to be aware and of when you're repeating, the same things that aren't getting you nowhere, and you got to modify that and fine tune that from there.
Perfect. Well said. Modify. You got to modify. You got to modify the information. You got to modify the steps that you're going to take. Appreciate you, buddy. The steps that you're going to take to become successful. And something that a lot of people leave out with action, happiness. What makes you happy? See, a lot of times people think excessive women, nice things are going to make you happy. And eventually what happens is once you have that thing, it no longer has that same appeal to you, right? Like so
Hmm.
you bang the hot chick and shit, you bang it a couple of times, and after that, it's not as great as it wasn't the first time. So when people attach their happiness to things that they're trying to achieve and get and never get them, they're never happy. So
Hmm.
now you're not happy, you're not gonna have any motivation to do anything.
Hmm.
You cannot attach your happiness to material things. Happiness, you have to modify your happiness accordingly. You cannot overextend yourself. You have to try to maximize what you're doing. And then when you are actually ready to receive those blessings or maintain a different lifestyle, then you level up that way. People are trying to jump and skip grades before they finish school, bro. You're a
Mm-hmm.
freshman, you want to get to a senior level. You can't do that because you miss all that stuff in between. And all that stuff in between are the failures that's going to prepare you for when you graduate. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Right. No, I hear you. Well, yeah, and that's true. A lot of people like want to like believe that there's like a magical pill towards success and everything that they can, all they got to do is do this and do that, snap their fingers and hit shit. They create that for themselves. Yet it does not happen, and I think because they have those expectations of it happening like that, they get disappointed and they give up and they just get afraid to like move forward instead of just like you said learning and realizing there's a certain process to attaining success in life.
Success equals happiness, man. Whatever. See, you
Hmm.
can be happy, live in a two-bedroom apartment, drive a Honda Civic, have a mediocre looking woman, and be the king of your castle. Be happy, content. You got to be able to identify where you want to go in life, man. That's the key because everybody's life is different. And, you know, at the end of the day, Rob, until you are ready to sacrifice, because you got to understand, there's a cost for happiness, bro. There's a cost for that. If you don't want to work for a company, you want to be an entrepreneur, there is a cost to leave your job, risk it all, invest all your time and resources into a company that may fail. That's the cost you got to pay. If you want to sacrifice and level up, you got to distance yourself from your friends that are playing video games, that are at the bar, all at the meetup groups, at the clubs. You got to distance yourself because it's not in line for where you trying to do. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So a lot of people are scared. You may have to distance yourself from family members. And sometimes we've talked about this before. Family members are only ones that you have. But at the end of the day, they're not going to achieve the goal and be happy at the end of the goal. You are. So you have to be willing to put everything on the line for your own happiness, bro.
Right. No, and that's true. I've been in situations in my life where I've kind of had to let go of friends and kind of like do away with certain things. And yeah, it was kind of scary at first because, like, like, so I like to, there's these friends I have back home in Michigan. They're probably watching right now, but I play, I like to play video games with them. And I used to be on for like a couple of hours and everything every night. And at one point I just like I was busy. I wanted to go out and date more women. I wanted to go
Right,
out,
right.
yeah, just go out and do other stuff rather than play video games. And and now like I only limit my time to like maybe an hour at most when I go on, and it's just like, and I still, so, but they still accept me for that, but they always give me shit,
Sure,
because
sure,
I'm
sure,
leaving.
sure, sure.
But I know they're I know they respect me and who I am on my path. They're like, that's cool. But I've also had to distance myself from people who got into drugs, or who weren't on the same like wavelength in my life. And yeah, that was hard. And sometimes too, like I learned too as I became more confident. When when you learn to love yourself more, and certain people you see that certain people that you thought like you are disrespecting you. I mean, I had to cut those people out of my life because they were toxic. And I think we all got to, if we want to move forward, we got to be comfortable with making that choice to do whatever's necessary.
Right.
We have to cut out like certain people in our lives.
Absolutely, man. And as you level up mentally, spiritually, financially, the less people are up there. So now you have to start to embrace solitude, man. You have to start embracing the fact that you're going to be doing a lot of things on your own.
Hmm.
And you can't hold that against people because not everybody can do or would want to sacrifice what you're sacrificing, Rob. Not everybody can do the shit that I'm doing. So at the end of the day, I used to hold that against people for not
Hmm.
showing me, being as supportive as I wanted them to be, because a lot of times too people don't do things for themselves or put action because they're scared that they're not going to get the approval of their family, of their friends, people closest to them. And I had to make a choice. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand my vision, and I can't hold that against people. A lot of, you'll get more love and more support from people that you don't know, Rob. And I'm sure you've been through that too. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
friends and family, they just turn their backs on you. Can't necessarily hold that against them, but you have to understand that as you get older, you're gonna realize that you're gonna meet people that just get it, and it's an
Right. No.
energy thing, and that is the best feeling, bro. Somebody who just gets it, that trumps everything for me, bro, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to explain a lot of shit. You know what I mean? And we
Right. No,
speak
I hear
without
you.
speaking. So that's what you need. You need people, and as you get old, as you start to level up, and you'll start to get with like-minded people, and you try to make the best of it.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, and it's always good to, those like-minded people are always the one that I think of where you get that energy, you know what I'm saying? Because you're on the same wavelength and stuff. And I think even if they're like on the same wavelength, but like a little better than you are, you're going to learn from them as well. Because you're going
Right,
to be
right,
like,
right.
okay, cool. This person's achieving greatness. This is going to inspire me and give me the discipline to want to have greatness in my life. And that's why you got to surround yourself with the people who are going to support you like on your journey, because that's really going to help you level up. And when I was trying to make a change in my life, I chose to work with mentors because I knew if I were to hang out with them and learn from them, and they were going to encourage me to grow as a guy and be a better.
Absolutely, and I applaud you for that too. That's another thing. That's another thing, bro. Why people don't put action into their goals, because they don't believe in mentorship. They don't believe in investing in um higher education, therapy, mentorship, a skill set. They don't believe in it. So it's kind of like a couple who's in a toxic relationship. On one hand, you have one person who wants to seek some therapy. The other person doesn't see the value in it. How
Mm-hmm.
can you and that how can you see? That's the thing. They are those things for a reason. Everybody's scared of a scam or getting scammed, right? But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, man, you have to take a risk in everything in life. And therapy, for the most part, really helps people put clarity and perspective, so that way they have a direction they can go, and it's easy to put action in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, no, and that is true though. Yeah, that's really going to help you like pivot you and motivate you to kind of get somewhere in your life when you got someone who you hold you accountable for whatever it is you're trying to work on, and that's very important to have, because sometimes people don't have the self discipline to do stuff on their own, and I mean, if you don't have that discipline, that's gonna that's you're gonna be stuck in those old habits and everything, and like just having a mentor and having someone holding you accountable is going to help you develop that proper discipline, I should say, to kind of push forward and stuff. And even when you feel like crap and afraid and you don't want to like do whatever it is you got to do, he's going to hold you accountable to that, so you can just go like do it. And because you got to say to yourself, well, I told this person I was going to do this. This person gave me this. So I had when one of my first when I was here in Arizona, I reached out to this guy in Canada, and he got me into approaching girls during the day. And what he would always do is he always gave me these like action plans for the week. So I had to go like talk to like an X amount of girls like every day and get a certain amount of recordings and stuff. And the fact that he expected that out of me, and plus like I was putting investing in myself, I I disciplined myself, even though I was very anxious and nervous,
Sure.
when I was first learning this skill set. um, I did it anyways, and I don't think if I would have ever had made that investment for myself, that I'd still be in the same situation. And like I said, like I am in a lot better place right now, but I'm still working with mentors today
For
with
sure.
this on this issue, because there's so many things to tackle. Like right now, I'm working on my inner work, my inner self, instead of like the
The
skill set.
exterior. Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The exterior. Yeah, yeah. As a man, you never stop working on yourself. You never stop trying to improve. But something that you said that was very important, that I want the audience to really consider. Rob said that he invested in himself, and his mentor held him accountable. See, the beautiful thing about being held accountable when you in that type of environment or that particular scenario is that it shows you the value of accountability, and subconsciously it teaches you how to hold yourself accountable. Because once you've mastered the accountability, you've mastered the truth, and you see yourself for who you are and where you need to go. you're off to the races, bro. Nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody wants to be told that you're wrong. Nobody wants to listen. Everybody's a guru. Everyone's got access to YouTube. Everyone's got access to Google. So nobody really listens to an OG or a person who's experienced in that particular area. Somebody may not know something. They'll ask you a question, Rob, and then they'll challenge you on it. So at the
Hmm.
end of the day, man, people need to really humble themselves and embrace accountability, because once you can embrace that, then you can hold yourself accountable, and anything is possible.
Right. No, and that's true. And sometimes too, when I'm kind of not getting nowhere, like with my goals, I have to sit back and reflect. Like, okay, am I? And I mentioned this before on some previous shows, but I know sometimes too, like if when I see myself not getting anywhere, like I like kind of like, okay, well, why am I not getting anywhere? And I'm reflecting upon that. It's because like, well, I'm not taking the action like I told myself to do, and not at the, and that kind of pushes me to take the action in my life that's necessary to get done. And I fall in and out of that, but it's just a discipline that I'm learning on improving.
Absolutely. And we've been on for about 22 minutes, but you see,
Mhm.
the common theme is everything is connected, bro.
Mhm, it is.
Discipline, investing in yourself, action. These are all actionable things, right? Not listening to everyone, but actually giving yourself an opportunity to listen to yourself, trusting yourself. People would rather trust someone that they see on YouTube versus actually attempting to trust themselves.
Mhm.
And why is that? Because they're fearful. They don't know what's at the end of that. And that's the beauty of growth. Not the uncertainty of something not occurring can can give you a drive that you'll never experience by listening to somebody else. And the reward is that much sweeter because you're the one that's actually going through with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Right, no, that's true. Yeah, that's very true what you say, and then, like, to top that off, like, I think we go into discipline, let's go into the mindset, 'cause I think the mindset is the most important thing, 'cause I think that's where a lot of guys get stuck. It's the because I was there, I'm still working on this, but I was there for most of my life. I had a negative outlook on the world. I didn't think I was, allowed to have this or have that. And, because of that, like I was afraid to take action because of my belief system. And I realized if another thing I had to do, and anyone else would have to do too, if they want to, take a step forward in their life, they got to work on their mind and changing their way they think about things, and, about themselves and the world around them.
Yeah, man. Mindset, it's everything. It's everything, bro. I'm a huge advocate for mental health. Not in the context that they use it today. I'm talking about mental health, your mindset, getting your mind right. See, if you look a certain way, you're in a financial status different from the majority of people. You have some deficiencies in your appearance, your speech impediment, whatever, bro. Society will shun you. Society will shun you. They'll exile you. And then once you start seeing how people are perceiving you, you'll start to believe that this is what you are. Kind of like
Right,
the elephant
exactly.
man. Kind of like the elephant man. Like you think you don't see yourself as a monster, but people perceive you as a monster. Then you start to see yourself as such. I've been through that too. Black man. I went through that phase where I was blaming the man for things that were not happening or in my favor. And I tried to alter my appearance the way that I was to try to fit into something that was never mine, regardless. It only became an opportunity, and it only became mine when I changed my mindset, when I didn't see color, when I didn't see
Hmm.
physical deficiencies or differences, when I didn't see financial blessings or what have you. When I started to see who I was and those particular things that I wanted, if I didn't look a certain way, I worked out to try to change my appearance. If I wanted a certain
Right.
lifestyle
There we go.
financially, I took courses, I had a second job, I saved money to try to get myself into that lifestyle. If I felt a certain way about a racial difference, I will put myself in a position where I can achieve those things no matter what color I was. It's all about the mindset, bro. The mindset is the engine. Action is the key. Once you put action in anything, man, the engine's off and running. So you really have to look at yourself for who you currently are and envision who you want to be. And once you have that vision clear, action is easy to achieve it.
Right. No, and that's true. And one thing too is when you're on your path, whatever it is you're working on in your life, yeah, you're gonna have those moments where you have setbacks. And then you're gonna get back into your old negative way of thinking, and you got to be very aware of that, because if you're not aware of that, that can kind of like slow you down on your self development process. Because I just remember I get kind of stuck there sometimes. I put a lot of work into something, and this isn't working, that ain't working out, and I guess like, okay, my old mindset comes back again, and you kind of get stuck in all those thoughts, and you got to be aware of that and put those thoughts in check if you're going to move forward, and that's all about, again, having discipline and just being able to take responsibility to say, or hey, I'm going to go through this no matter what's going on. And that, and then like I think the more you can have that awareness, like once you can clear your thoughts and stuff, you can be more creative in what course of action you're going to be taking next time.
Absolutely. And bro, it's if you don't listen, man, the action is so scary. It's scary. And we're sitting here, we're saying all these positive affirmations, something you'd read out of a Hallmark card, but this shit is not easy, bro. Life isn't easy, but it's simple. The journey for anything that you want to exist or to live. Most people don't live because they're content with existing. Nothing wrong with it, but if you're content with existing, you can't complain about not living.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand and embrace that life is about challenges. Life is going to throw you some fucking curveballs, lemonade with lemons, all that shit. But
Very
once you,
poetic there, my friend.
yeah. But what
Lemonade with lemons.
lemons with the lemonade, yeah. So at the end of the day, Rob, if we don't embrace everything that could potentially happen, there's going to be some uncertainty, and you're never going to put any action towards achieving your goals, bro. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Well, no, and I think that's what we have to do, is we have to embrace that things that, like, we have to realize, okay, yeah, things aren't going to go run as smoothly as we'd like. We're going to have setbacks. Things are going to get shitty, and we got to just learn to accept that. Because I think when we can accept that, whatever it is we're doing, that there is going to be kind of setbacks along the way.
Right.
That, I mean, it's really going to help us pivot forward when we're having those setbacks.
Exactly. And it's all part of life, man. It's all part of life. It's kind of like not being scared and not going to the doctor, prolonging the inevitable. Whereas if you were brave and you decided to make a change in your life, you would go and see if you're carrying something, if there's an abnormal growth inside of you, if you got a goddamn STD, all that shit. Because people would rather live in fear than embrace a potential truth to live in, to be happy. Being free is a great feeling. Like when you don't have to lie to anybody, you're not sneaking around. You got a clean bill of health. Your bills are paid. There's nothing like that feeling. But people would rather just stay on the rat race and try to
Mm-hmm.
live for the moment, as opposed to people want to live a good day versus living a potential good life. And
But why do
that's
you think that is?
it's the same thing, man. It's dopamine. It's coping. You see, we always talk about in this space that attention is a woman's drug. I think delusion is a man's drug,
Mhm.
because a man will drink, he'll smoke, he'll do whatever it is to kind of cope with what life has in store for him as a man. We know about female nature. We gotta grind. We gotta work all these hours of the day. We gotta save money to try to become this high value man. Sometimes it gets hard, so we want to have a drink. We want to smoke a joint, whatever, to try to help us deal with shit. At the end
Mhm.
of the day, though, that shit's not going anywhere. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, it really, you know what, it doesn't really help with anything. You get all this,
It
you're stressed
prolongs the
out.
inevitable.
Like even though like it gives you that little high, you're still gonna end up uh, having the same like thoughts and feelings. Like, and
Right. Right.
I
And
think
it
it amplifies that too with the side effects afterwards.
absolutely, because once you decide to be coherent, or you said, listen, I'm not gonna drink today, you realize that your goals or your obstacles have increased. Now you got interest on the goal on the obstacles that you prolonged. Now you got to
Hmm.
get surgery because you didn't fucking go to the doctor. You prolong the inevitable. It's all fear. It's all
Hmm.
fear. The sooner you know what won't work for you, the sooner you'll know what will.
Hmm.
But if you're scared because you don't know what's going to work for you, you'll never know what will.
Hmm.
All about fear, bro. People talk a lot of shit. They're fearful of life because they think this is what life is. But if you go after your dreams and you are fearless in your pursuits, life can be whatever you fucking want it to be.
Hmm. Well, why do you think we allow that fear? Was it like to take control of us? Like, I mean, we have the choice to kind of, if we're letting this fear like consume us, that we have the choice to kind of look the other way. You know what I'm saying?
I think people think fear is normal. That crippling fear. Fear is normal, but a crippling fear is normal. It's kind of like an argumentative partner in a relationship. People think that's normal. Maybe you grew up in a household with with your parents always arguing, or you always had toxic relationships, so you think that that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you no longer like something that is normal, guess what? All you got to do is flip a switch, and now it's no longer normal.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Right.
do
That's true.
things, you do fucking things that are opposite to the shit that you no longer want to do. So if you grew up in a household full of yelling people, toxic relationship, and you woke up one day and said, yo, I'm not doing this anymore. That's not normal for me. The next day it's no longer normal. It's all about mindset. It's all about action, decisions. It's hard, but a lot of our friends, people are going through it and shit. But again, you can't compare your life to a friend or a family member. You got to
Mm-hmm.
make decisions and possibly be the proof that people need to see to change. But it starts with you, bro.
Right. You know what? You mentioned something too. I think that something came to mind when you mentioned about comparing yourself to friends and family members. Like, I think that's another reason why some of us may be afraid to take action because we may compare ourselves to them or like other people. And therefore, we see someone who has this, we think, well, we make that judgment. Well, they have it easy because they do this, so therefore, I don't have it easy, so I can't do that. And they don't know that person to make that assumption.
Right. And that's the thing. You don't you don't you're scared what they're gonna say about you. You're scared that you're not as successful as your sibling. Or what's your mother gonna say? What your family members are gonna say because of the line of work you want to do. It's all of that. It's all that judgment. So it kind of goes back to what we said earlier. You have to embrace solitude. You have to understand that most people are suffering, very few are sacrificing. Sacrifice is something you do deliberately with an end goal in mind. Suffering is waiting for the child care credit or waiting for unemployment, waiting to be handed something versus taking it. That's the
Hmm.
difference. And when you take it, what is that? Action. When you choose to suffer and wait for unemployment, that's suffering. You're settling. And you got to separate yourself if you no longer want to be that person.
I really like that what you just said. No, that's so true. I mean, because I think a lot of us, are suffering because when you don't take that, that's because we're not taking the action in our life, and
To
I think
sacrifice.
they're afraid to, and like they don't realize, like, well, hey, that if they take that action, I mean, yeah, sure, they got to put in some work and stuff, but they're actually doing something in their life. I know, like I procrastinated on doing a few things, and when I finally got around to doing them, I felt like fucking awesome about myself. I'm like, I'm kicking ass. So
Absolutely.
I totally agree with that, man. Like, I think when you're waiting for something to come along, and you're just kind of hope, and like you're kind of suffering, and but not, and there's other ways that you can go about getting what it is you need, rather than just sitting around waiting for this or what you expected to be handed down to you in life. And
Right.
like, I think it's important that in order for us to become confident guys, that we have to take the actions that's necessary, that we find that we want to take in our lives. Because when we have these ideas and don't want to take the action in our lives, and the fact that we're not going to take any action, we're going to feel like shit. But when we take that action, no matter what it is we're working on, we're going to feel like fucking great about ourselves, and like you're going to evolve as a person because you're growing. And so that's why it's important that you not let your anxiety, your fear, like hold you back, but just say to yourself, well, hey man, I'm going after this. And when you take that action, and even though things not may not happen right away, you're going to start feeling more confident about yourself. You're going to grow, you're going to learn new things, and you're going to develop into the guy that you want to be.
Facts. And it's crazy. Two things. That was well said. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest sacrifice when you ain't doing shit is to take action. That's the biggest hurdle. But once you take that first step in action towards your goals, everything else gets easier as you go along. Everything gets easier as you go along. And you got to remember too, bro, that action is the difference between the life people want you to have versus the life that you feel like you need to have.
Mm-hmm.
Most people want you to live like them. They want to live comparable to you. And if they're on a different level, they want you to stay comfortable. Because sometimes, Rob, people are comfortable with us um in our vegetative state, in a state where we're confused because we're predictable. But when you start to distance yourself, you start to follow your goals and chase your goals, what happens? People start, you become unrecognizable. And then they're saying, Rob, you think you're all that. Rob, you've changed. Not noticing that the change is conducive to the goals and the growth that you want that they could never achieve. So you got to remember, bro, everything, everything that you do, Rob, this is why we talk about authenticity. You have to do it for yourself. You have to do it for yourself. You take bits and pieces of things that resonate with you, things that give you energy, apply it to your life and make the life that you want. Because when these cameras come off, bro, who knows what the hell the gurus are doing? We don't know. All we know is that they're getting money. So the good ones are there, the bad ones are there. Take whatever you need from either or, apply it to your life, and make it your own. That way you can
Mm-hmm.
customize and modify your life and be happy the way you think you need to be.
No, and agree. Like, when you start learning from the gurus, even like with a mentor too, like they're going to teach you what they did, but you're eventually, the more you do it, the more, like I said, even though like it might not work 100%, because the reason probably why it's not working 100% for you is because you're not being true to who you are as a guy.
Boom.
Like this, I realized this when I was learning how to, be social with women. Like I go, mentor gave me a simple line to go talk to girls. I did that for a while, and like I was getting some dates, but I realized after a while, like I had, I wasn't being me, and I had to learn how to modify that to where it was being
Right.
me.
Right. That's the key. Being you. A lot of people don't know who they are. People, they want to be like the movie stars. No, bro, you can't do that because their life isn't your life. See, a lot of times the mentor will say, I did that when I was a kid, but that was many years ago. You know what I mean? The way that you
Hmm.
handled it could be different from the way that I could handle it. At the end of the day, man, take action. You will realize that you know a lot more than you thought you did. You're going to
Hmm.
realize that the world would appreciate someone who is authentic versus a man who sounds and regurgitates things that he heard on TV.
Mm-hmm.
Because most men that are popularizing our space are talking the same exact motherfucking way. So now
Right.
women are starting to hear this. It's spreading like wildfire. Now when you sound like the rest of them, what do you think the chances are of you getting with that broad? Very slim to none. But if you're
Agreed.
authentic, you're confident in yourself, that bitch can't tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
She can't tell you don't look like Brad Pitt or whatever you fuck you want to look like. You know what I mean? She can't tell me that because I know it doesn't matter. This is why you see unattractive men sometimes with really attractive women. It's not always about the money. It's about the man who knows that everyone sees him as ugly, doesn't care and doesn't listen, and thinks he is just as attractive as the next man.
Mm-hmm.
And women feed off that energy because women are so fucking insecure. They can't fathom and understand why an unattractive man is so confident. They want to grab some of that energy so they could be confident.
Right. Yeah.
See?
That's right, though. You know, and you made an interesting point earlier about
I can't hear you. I can't
you-
hear you.
can you hear me now?
Nah.
No, can't hear. What? Really? Technical difficulties? Uh,
Got you. Yeah, now I can.
okay, good. Okay, good. I was having a panic attack there. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah.
No, so you made a very interesting point though. So like, because I realized I did the funny story about this. You're talking about like, you know, people watching these gurus, you know, going to like the pickup artists and stuff. I you remember the mystery method or Neil
Yeah,
Strauss
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. I'm
So
not too deep in it, but I'm aware of them. Yes.
yeah, well, you know, it's funny because actually, when I first back in 2007, like you know, I stumbled across the game Mystery Method, and you know, there was like all this formula and stuff. Well, anyways, you know, I grew out of that stuff, but you know, because it really wasn't getting me anywhere. I kind of I realized like the best game is being confident in everything when it comes just knowing yourself and being confident. That's why
Oh,
I
bro,
took on that path.
hold up. The best game is when it's confidence. That's it. That's a mic drop. It's a t-shirt, Rob.
Yeah, right. I thank you very much.
Let's
We should put it
go.
in the merch store.
Go ahead.
Um, so it reminded me of a time that I remember. This is like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I was out at a bar with some friends, and I had my friend was using a line that he did here in like in you know, you read in the pickup like the game or something like that, and it was so funny because like one girl called him out on that, like using that line from that pickup artist show, and he's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "Dude, you're not gonna get out of this one, man."
Oh
But
man.
but no, you got to I mean you can take what when it comes to like when these guys teaching you how to meet women, yeah, take what they say. They'll get you to a certain point, but I think it's really gonna work when you learn how to develop your own authenticity and put
Right.
your own flavor onto it. And this
Right.
same goes with your, you know, you're doing something with your a business or something like that.
Facts. See, that's the shit. Guys,
I
make
know
sure
that's
you
a
guys are
shit, man.
make sure you guys are liking the video. Make sure you
Yeah.
guys leave a fire sign for Rob too, because yo, listen, Rob said something very important. Mentorship, gurus, teachers will get you to a certain point. But in order to in the real world, you have to identify and figure out, you got to figure out what works best for you. It's kind of like if you go to college, 4 year degree, you get your bachelor's degree, you get your diploma. They've only prepared you with the basics. Your colleges and universities don't go on your interviews with you. So you got to kind of do it yourself. If a game guru teaches you how to pick up a broad and you're about to close the deal, the game guru's not going in the bedroom with you to fuck the broad. You got to try to fuck her yourself. So it's all about action. We can't hold your hands all day. We have to show you where things are, and you're gonna have to take those steps yourself and
Hmm.
fall, get rejected, lose a job, lose money, fuck up a relationship, get divorced. You gotta go through that to become the version of a man that you're trying to be based on hearing it from other people. You gotta take the step, man. You gotta take the first step, and it all starts with one step. And you'll be surprised that that one step will solve another 10 issues you had that you thought you had to achieve one by one.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, that's so true. Like, I mean, I think when you can take action, like I noticed this, like, yeah, when you go through the process of taking action and everything, and you know what it's like, you're gonna become more confident because you actually taken the action. When you're out on a date with a girl, and you have experience, after taking all this action, you're willing to risk, like going in for a kiss or sexually flirting with the girl and not give a damn because hey, you've been through it, and it really like the more action you take, the more you fall, the more you become like it doesn't affect you. You're indestructible towards. I noticed that like when you fail a lot and you have a lot of setbacks and you learn, you're indestructible when you have setbacks in life, and it helps you become more confident when you're whatever it is you're doing, whether with women, dating, fitness, and stuff. I mean, that's just what
Exa-
I've learned.
exactly. And I'm sure you can tell this to your audience too, as well as me. The amount of times we've heard no makes it now at this point, it doesn't really matter. I look, it's all about perspective, right? So a no to me means not right now, or a no to me means that they're interested, but they're not because of this. When you get a no, you got to identify what the objective really is, and then you conquer it. So when you get an obstacle in life, you have to identify why that obstacle came in your way, and then you can figure out how to go around that obstacle and still achieve your goal. So when someone tells
Hmm.
me they're not interested in the product I'm selling, I get to the root issue as to why they're not interested, fix that, and realize that that problem can be solved by taking this. It's all about action, bro.
Hmm. Right. No, it's true. Everything's about action. Like, that's that's gonna help you like get out of like, the frustration you have about yourself in life because it's like you're like the hero on the journey of your own life and
Right.
everything. And you're just like when you're taking that action, it's just like an adventure for you rather than just like, not taking action. Everything's like boring as hell.
And what you'll find is when you do things like that, it is an attractive trait to a woman, right? We talk
Hmm.
about women, we talk about that shit. Women like go-getters. Women like ambitious men. Women like the fact that you are trying to build an empire because for the most part, most women today don't have it a lot. So they want to kind of feel secure. What's the number one thing that a woman wants as she ages? Security. So at the end of the day, you have to try to stay on your purpose and your goal and achieve something that you can enjoy on your own. And if you decide to have a woman in your life, she can enjoy it with you based on your criteria. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah, right, correct. Now, is there any final thoughts you want to say here before we close the show?
Man, no, this was awesome. I appreciate you for having me on, bro. Like
Always
I
a
said,
pleasure.
yeah, I got the setup coming up, man. So, like I said, once I get my footing, definitely would love to have you on my show. But this message was important. I think we touched on a lot of topics. We repeated a
Hmm.
couple of them, but that's because it's a simple step. Take action. Just do it, and you'll see that a lot of things will unfold for you, and you'll have an opportunity to live a life that you want. But I appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, right. And where can people find you?
Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel, Alpha Villains. I'm also on Instagram at Alpha Villains, and I got a morning show coming. Finish your
Ooh,
breakfast with
nice,
AV.
man.
Finish your breakfast with AV coming sometime, if not Friday, Monday for sure. I appreciate
Okay.
you.
Awesome, man. I can't wait to check that out. And yeah, thank you very much. And like again, guys, the important thing is like life is too short to just be sitting around and wallowing in, your troubles and stuff. And so I just want to encourage you all just to like do whatever it takes. Go out there and take action in your life. Even though like you might not believe in yourself 100%. You might not feel like you can do this or it's impossible. And like because I wanted to say like felt that I had those same thoughts and feelings too. And I just got tired of it one day, and I just said, "F it, man." And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I dealt with all the rejection, all the mindset stuff,
Good.
because like if I didn't, like I would not be where I am right now. And like if I can do it, you can do it, and realize that the
Facts.
path towards success is never ending. You're always going to constantly be sharpening your sword. You're going to be learning new things. You're going to be developing and everything. And yeah, I encourage you guys, like, just go out there and do it, learn, do, and just deal with the setbacks, and like feel like when you're out there taking the action, see what's working for you and what's not working for you. And when
Right.
something's not working to your advantage, figure out how you can refine that and then test that out. Like it's like an experiment, just when you're out there on the journey, go out there and just test something out until you get there. And you'll realize when you can do it, you're going to feel like fucking confident about yourself. You're just because you realize I went through all that turmoil, I went through all those rejections, whatever it is you're doing, and
Right.
you did it.
Right. Right.
And even your small wins are successes. So I want you
A win
guys,
is a
like,
win.
yes, exactly. So I want you guys to just go out there, like, honestly, like, stop letting your mind get you down, because like you don't want to like have regrets later on. I had a friend who said to me one time, because before I came out here to Arizona, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do it. I just didn't feel like I could do it. It was a big move for me. And he said to me, "Rob, man, just go out there and like fucking do it, because like you're going to be on your deathbed and you might regret it."
Right.
and,
That's
and
awesome.
and when I came out here and like the situation didn't work out with the girl I was with, it actually was the best experience for me, because
Boom.
I developed as a person.
Nice. That's awesome,
And
bro.
you
Yeah.
got to realize one more thing, and like
Of course.
no matter what you happens when you're on your journey, you got to say to yourself, this has always been, I read this in the book called The Art of Happiness. This is a good quote, because I always reflect upon this quote. And it says, the quote is, anything that can ever happen to you is the best thing that could ever happen to you. So even if
Facts.
something bad happens to you, there's going to be something good that comes out of it. And I've noticed that, like
Right.
when I've been down on my ass, and I'm
Yes.
like, okay, life is not going to get better. And then sure enough, like a couple weeks later, a month later, like something kick ass happens. Like say for instance, like I was a little bummed out when like with the girl I moved out here with, it didn't work out. But I realized, well, hey, I'm gonna make and you know what, it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I developed as a guy.
Right.
I would not be who I am right now if
You
that
wouldn't
didn't
be doing
happen.
what you're doing right now, bro. So everything happens
Yeah,
for a
so
reason. Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, guys, I hope you liked the video. Be sure to give it a thumbs up. And again, like, join the free Facebook mastermind group. I put that in the description there. Our buddy Bernie here, I want to thank you for moderating tonight. He's
Good
put
looking
it
out,
in
Bernie.
the comments and everything. Bernie's like awesome, man. I got to talk to
Nice.
this guy one of these days.
Nice. Nice.
And yeah, like, share this video and subscribe if you haven't to the channel. And I'll be on again with Alpha Villains next month. And we'll do a topic about like women, probably like sexual confidence with
For sure. For
women,
sure. For
something
sure.
like
Yeah.
that. We'll go into just a topic about ladies next time. So thank you very much, everyone, and rock on. And we'll see you. I'm gonna be on this Saturday with a sophisticated man. So I'll see you on
Nice.
Saturday at 2:30, no, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 4 p.m. Eastern time. So don't want to miss out on that. We're actually going to be analyzing. We're going to talk about how the media brainwashes men and like having a false perception about women,
Nice.
like romance and stuff. So you don't
Nice.
want to miss out on that. So we out, man. We'll talk to you later.